Hey guys, welcome back to episode 3 of the Mike's 3D Life podcast, where we discuss everything in golf currently, some of the highly debated topics within golf, and bring you hopefully some entertaining content. We are here out at Saunton Sands. This is exactly where we filmed episode 2. You are joining us just minutes later. We thought, whilst we have this incredible backdrop, why not film another episode out here? We've been out here filming our brand new Breaking Par series out on my YouTube channel, so do make sure you check that out. We've also launched a new series where I try and break the course record from just 100 yards and in on every hole, which is just a little experiment along the same lines of, could you win the Masters if you started on the green versus the rest of the field? We want to show how good these pros are and how close would you need to start to the hole in order to compete with them. So let's dive straight in. And topic number 1 we are discussing today is the TGL. Now, I think everyone can agree there's been huge positives and maybe a few negatives in the TGL and its first season. It came out a year later than they were originally planning because of some technical issues, and we did see some technical issues in the first season. There was moments where Tommy Fleetwood hit a golf ball and the simulator didn't pick it up. There were moments where the simulator seemed to be doing some weird things with the yardages, and wedges from 100 yards were flying 30 yards too far, leaving pros very shocked and confused. We had Kevin Kisner thinning wedges dangerously into flag sticks, nearly killing people. So it's been really, really interesting. I think for the most part, I'd like to start with the positives. I've really enjoyed it. I think there's a lot of people who think, why do we need it? Do we need it? Whatever. But the thing is, it's on a Monday or a Tuesday night. It's like, there's no golf on at that time. There's not even many other professional sports on. So it's not like it's this either or battle of, well, is it detracting from the PGA Tour? Because it's really not. It's not on the same timetable, the same schedule. I mean, it's hard for the players because a player would normally get to a venue on a Monday, maybe morning. He might play a little bit on the Monday, or maybe he might get there Monday evening and start practicing and playing on the Tuesday. But it's not having that effect. It's difficult for the players, but it's not having that impact on us. It's just more entertainment. It's just more highlights, more engagement for golf fans. Now, one thing, I understand TGL, it's a huge setup. There's a lot of technology. So it's filmed in one place in Florida. And it looks like it would be an incredible spectator event because you're really getting up close and personal and seeing 100% of the action within 60 to 70 yards away from you. Whereas if you've been to a professional golf event, you know what it's like. You know that you can go to the driving range and watch the guys warm up, but if you want to follow them out on the course, often you can't get that close. Often the action is much more limited. You're seeing the occasional shot here, the occasional shot there, then you've got to walk hundreds of yards. The TGL is packing so much more action. Now, I haven't been to a live TGL event. I would love to go. I think it looks absolutely incredible. And the technology is unbelievable with the green, with the holes they've designed. Some of the simulator technology looks like there might be some bugs they're still figuring out. And with the golf course design, it's been quite interesting at the TGL. I would say there's been some amazingly designed, beautiful, gorgeous holes, which really push the limits in terms of what you could actually design. And then there have been a few holes very geometrically shaped, which aren't realistic to actually create. And personally for me, they're not my favorite holes. My favorite holes would be something that could exist, might be very difficult for it to exist, might be pushing those limits too far for it to exist, but in reality it could exist, and it could be some incredibly beautiful golf holes. I would love to hear your thoughts on the TGL though. What have you enjoyed? What haven't you enjoyed? I think one of the things they maybe could have done better is there needs to be a little bit more stakes. Their seemed to be a bit of a mismatch. When the TGL first came out, players weren't sure if they were supposed to take it seriously or if they were supposed to have a bit of banter. And I think the answer is a mix of both. You want to win and you want to have some shit talking with the other guys. You want to get those good moments, get that kind of rivalry driven a little bit. But you also want to win. And I think when it first started, the players kind of would laugh off certain shots, or it wasn't kind of clear that they wanted to really win. Now, I do think that really changed as it went on, but I think that aspect of what are they playing for? Why do they want to win? There needs to be a little bit more purpose behind it. And I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on that. Maybe it's pride, maybe it's bragging rights. I think we'd all agree that it's probably not money. I think what we've learned in golf or in any sports is that throwing money at a problem and just increasing prize pots doesn't make it more engaging for fans. It doesn't increase our wanting of actually wanting to watch it and wanting to consume it and increasing the stakes and seriousness of it. There has to be something more meaningful than that.
What is the best golf course in the world?
What do you guys think the best golf course is in the world? It's really, really interesting. Now, there's probably a lot of them that I haven't been to. I've never been to Augusta National. I've never been to places like Seminole. You've got places in New Zealand, which I have been to a few, but I've never been to Tara Iti or Te Arei, which are some brand new, unbelievable golf courses, and they look like absolute golf heaven. But yeah, what is the best golf course in the world? I believe I'm right in saying that Royal County Down is ranked as number one, or if it's not number one, it is certainly very high up there. Funnily enough, I think if you asked a lot of people, they'd say Augusta National, but Augusta National isn't actually ranked in the top 10, which is quite interesting. And if the Masters wasn't there, where would it be ranked? It would probably actually be even lower. Now, these two golf courses at Saunton Sands are ranked in the top 100 in the UK, and I think that's pretty fair to say. They are some unbelievable golf courses, not the longest courses in the world, more of like an old-fashioned link style. Unbelievable quality though, unbelievable maintenance of them both, especially the West course we played yesterday. Make sure you check out our YouTube video on that. But my favorite golf courses that I've ever played, my number one, and you might be able to tell it because I'm wearing it on my shirt, is Pebble Beach. Now, I went there for the first time in August for my 30th birthday, and look, you as a golfer, everyone knows Pebble Beach. Everyone has a huge high expectation of what it's going to be like. And I have to say, I think it blew those expectations away, which is pretty crazy to say because it is, everyone says it's one of the most beautiful places in the world. But I think what you realize when you're at Pebble Beach is what you don't get to see on TV is the 360-degree views. For example, on the 6th green and the 7th tee box, both unbelievable holes. You guys probably know the holes, you can picture them. The 6th is the par 5 that goes kind of down then back up the hill where Tiger Woods famously hit a 7-iron from 200 yards, and this was like 20 years ago when the ball went nowhere, and you know, made an unbelievable birdie. But they are so beautiful, and you don't see the views all around. When you're on the 6th green, the 7th tee box, there's unbelievable views over the 18th hole, and that's something that you would never really see because it's the opposite direction to the 7th green and the 7th hole. So you don't really see these things, and it's just one of the most beautiful places to go. Now, I was very lucky I got to go on a very sunny, beautiful day. Maybe my opinions would be different if the weather played an impact, if it was foggy and rainy and windy, which we all know it can be at places like that at any links golf course. And today and yesterday is a perfect example of that. Yesterday on the West course, we had beautiful sunshine, almost a perfect day. Pretty much a perfect day, I would say. Today on the East, it was much colder, much windier, had a little bit of rain this morning. Greens were, you know, a little bit softer and a little bit slower. So conditions you play a golf course in I definitely think plays an impact into your own perspective and opinion of it. But what makes a golf course for you? Is it the course design, the course layout? Is it the scenery, the stunning views around it? Is it the hospitality in the clubhouse, the food, the clubhouse itself? I think that's a really interesting point, is like I've been to, quite a few of Trump's golf courses, for example, and, we're not going to get into politics on this podcast by any means, love him or hate him. I personally like to stay out of the political world myself, but anyway, his golf courses have unbelievable hospitality. There's been no expense spared in terms of the clubhouse, the design, the remodels, all of those details. The food is exceptional. At a golf course like this, Saunton Sands, it's a little bit more of an old school feel, a bit more of an old school golf course, still great food, but a much smaller clubhouse, a bit more modest. So does that side of it matter to you, and what do you like? For example, I went to Dumbarnie Links, a brand new course in Scotland that came out, opened in the pandemic. When I went there, the clubhouse wasn't even open, it was still being built. The golf course was beautiful, it was spectacular, it was immaculate, the course design, the views were incredible, but there was no clubhouse. But it's still, to this day, one of my favourite golf courses I've ever been to. I do think that some of the best golf courses, though, are probably a little bit more less well known, let's say, because they reside in places like New Zealand or Australia, or just places where the PGA Tour and professional golf doesn't necessarily go. That's something I would love to see. And Pat Perez actually said himself, when he was still playing on the PGA Tour, that they do not go to any of the top golf courses inside the top 100 in America, except for Augusta National. And that's really interesting, because when you're hosting a professional event, you need a lot more than a good golf course. So let's keep it going. Let's move on to another topic, but I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below.
So how much would you need to be paid to play golf full time?
So I actually put this question out recently on my Instagram, and the question I put out was, if you were offered $50,000 to play golf full time for the rest of your life, would you take it? And there was a huge divide amongst people. A lot of people said yes, hands down, I would do that, play golf every day, 50,000 for the rest of my life, 100%, especially if the golf was paid for. That could even be an increase on your current earnings. Then there was a lot of people saying that wouldn't even pay my expenses, that wouldn't even pay for this. So I think it is really interesting. Where does that number lie for you? How much would you have to be paid to play professional golf full time for the rest of your life? Now, I do not play golf professionally for a living, but I am lucky enough that golf and playing golf is a part of my job, and it's a part of my job that by creating this content, I'm trying to make into a bigger part and also earn money through. Now, what that number would have to be, if you're saying maybe my expenses are roughly £20,000-ish a year, maybe that's $25,000 roughly, that's the number it has to be just to cover all my bases. Now, maybe you want a family, maybe you need to support other people, maybe you want holidays on top of that. So maybe double that number, 50,000 a year to play golf every day. It also depends, I think a big factor in this is, okay, you can go out and play golf every day, but who are you playing with? Because the biggest factor of enjoyment for me in playing golf is who I'm with, is playing with my mates, is having fun on the golf course. I even play golf with my mum, who's nearly 70. We're lucky enough that we can still go out and play golf together, which is unbelievable. But who are you actually playing with? Because if you're out there every day on your own, yes, it's still playing golf, yes, it's great fun, but it's not that much fun if you're alone every day. Two, what if it's terrible weather and you don't want to go out and play and you have to go out there and play every day? Because I've worked in the world of professional golf for the last few years, and I can tell you that there are certain conditions where where golf turns very quickly into being a job. It stops being enjoyable and it turns very quickly into being a job. We were out in Singapore last year, and the humidity was horrendous. Your palms were sweating. As soon as you stepped outside, you were sweating instantly. In those conditions where it's so hot, the humidity, you can't grip the club, golf turns very, very quickly into being a job. And when you're playing for the results, when you need to finish at a certain spot and you are grinding over every shot, I do think that enjoyment factor goes down. So for me, I would say that number is probably, I would say around 60 to 70,000. I would say I do think there's certain factors who I'm playing with. If I'm forced to go out and play every day, yeah. But let us know in the comments down below, what would your number be? How much would you have to be paid to play golf full time?
Nice. Last one for today. Severance Golf. Would you do it?
Okay, Severance. Have you seen it? Now, if you haven't seen it, basically it's a concept where when you get severed, you do not remember what you do for work, basically. You cannot remember anything that happens from when you start work to when you finish work. So there was an interesting topic by the Foreplay podcast, which I thought would be interesting to discuss, which is severance golf. If you were told you would get severed, so you would not remember any of the work side of your life that you do, all you know is you play golf for a living, and you're playing that in their hypothetical, they were playing Augusta National every single day, but you would never know you're playing Augusta National. Would you do it? Now, this is a really interesting question because there's a lot of layers to this. It's like you can't remember any of the enjoyment side of playing golf, but you're playing golf every day for work. So your golf is going to dramatically improve. You're going to, I mean, I'm a 1 handicap now. I'd probably get to a +5 in 6 months if I'm playing full time out there every single day. So that's one factor. Also, but then you don't remember any of it. You aren't enjoying it as much. You aren't remembering, you might not be with your friends, but you can still play golf in your full time. So I would say for me, probably not. I think the thought of not remembering what happens to me every day is pretty terrifying. But yeah, again, would love to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments down below. Would you do it, Richard?
No.
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 Why is that? The same reason as me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd just be upset. Unless you could somehow gain the muscle memory that the professional golfer has got.
Well, you would gain the muscle memory.
In some way. You just wouldn't know about it.
No, you just wouldn't know about it. Exactly. No, you'd be turning up at the weekend and going, that drive's gone an extra 20 yards. Like, God, I'm really getting freaking good at this game.
Can you evaluate your swing speed? Can I watch a swing video of my severed self?
No, no, nothing, no communication, no overlap.
Can you imagine your severed version had the course record and you had to beat your own severed course record?
And I started playing it from 100 yards.
Yeah, you'd need to.
All right. Thank you guys for watching episode 3 of the M3D Life podcast. We really appreciate it. We are working really, really hard, filming out here every day, filming this podcast and editing it. Richard's working very hard behind the scenes to bring it to you. So thank you guys for watching. If you can, help us out, follow it, like it, comment your thoughts down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much, guys. See you soon.